Welcome to Ascension Stories. We have today Jen from LegitBat podcast. Jen, hi, welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. This is so amazing.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, I would love to hear more about your podcast first, actually.
Okay, well, our podcast is a little weird. Um, we talk about everything from current events to aliens, to I don't know, meditation, spiritualism, philosophy, just thinking outside the general box that we've all been put in. We do unfortunately talk about some like bad current events that you're not allowed to talk about. Um, I know this is going on YouTube, so I won't say what that is, but I think we all know. Um, so, but we just talk about how that woke a lot of people up, and a lot of the things that are coming out of these new current events are positive over negative, even though there is negativity involved. We swear a lot. We drink on the show. We do silly stuff. We make fun of things in a good way, though. It's me, my husband. My husband started the show with me and our brother-in-law, and we wanted to model it after sitting around a campfire and just we used to like live together, and we used to just when we
Oh,
were just
love it.
younger, we would just drink all the time and sit around a bonfire and just tell stupid stories and laugh. So we started this show based on that, but we met so many people in this community. There are so many wonderful people that we've interviewed and had the pleasure of talking to and done swap casts with. So it's been a really fun ride. We started it about a year and a half ago.
Nice.
So
And I believe I caught one of your guys's episode. I think it was like 2.5 hours, maybe a little more on Tartaria.
oh, I heard you talking about that with Brandon on your last episode, and I was like, I wonder if she's talking about our show. So
I wasn't sure, and then it literally kind of came to me. I was like, "Wait, there."
so
did I
we hosted
you-
it
did I
on
mention
our
the
platform.
correct podcast, or did I say something completely wrong?
No, I don't know if you guys ever figured out which one it was on in the episode. I couldn't remember. I don't
Today,
remember hearing that. But
today.
it was actually Rising from the Ashes that did that episode, but we hosted it for them so that they could live stream it to Rockfin. So we were the podcast that looked like it was on, but I mean you can find it on our channel, but I believe it was their show really. We were just hosting.
Yeah, and there were like I don't remember 12 of you guys, 11, 10.
There were a lot of people on that. I think we ended up leaving and we like passed over the Zoom call. We're like, here, you can have this. We have bedtimes and work stuff.
Yeah,
So bye.
I
But it was
made it
cool.
all the way, all the way. I
Nice.
love the topic. I feel like we don't know much at all, at all. Like so, any kind of little morsels, I'm like, more, please.
Yeah, exactly. Like the flat earth stuff and the Tartaria, mud flood, orphan trade stuff. I don't know anything about it, but I'm willing to listen. I don't have really an opinion either way. I just know we've been definitely lied to. I mean, I don't think our history is correct. Think of what our history books for our children's children, if we have the pleasure of surviving as a species for that long, are going to say about this current time we're in right now, depending on who wins. This is a crazy time, but really to us, we're just like, we were just talking last night on our show that we're going to make like a time capsule for our kids and just like have them carry it with them to be like, in 2020, like, here's what really happened. Like, this is the real story of 2020. And just
Right?
talk about like propaganda and just how, paranoia, just mass hysteria, it's just creating this like new thought form in people and it's just not real. So,
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, so definitely it's insane. And oh, by the way, so my opinion, like I do have an opinion on whether the earth is round or flat. And I'm not attached to anything because I don't know. But my opinion is that the earth is round only because, well, not only, probably because that's what I heard all my life. So that's like the conditioning, right? But my biggest reason is because when I do my grounding and I put my cord all the way down into the earth and connect to the center, like I feel her. I feel the earth. Like she's like a being. So like I don't know. I feel like if it's flat, like there's nothing really to connect to. It's like not organic, you know? I feel like I'm
Yeah, I
pretty
love
sharp.
that. I like
Like
that's
a,
a really good reason. That's a really good explanation of why.
yeah,
Because I never thought of it like that. But if you feel it, I think sometimes that's more powerful than the things, you're told or you read. You
exactly.
feel it.
How about here? Whether it's like the knowing or the feeling, those are the extra senses. Clairsentience is the extra feeling. Cognizance is the extra knowing. Like just you just know stuff. So for me, it's like my strongest sense is the knowing, but the in this case is the feeling that's kind of bringing up the I think that's what's going on. But again, I'm not attached, doesn't matter. Like to me it's not changing my life in any way.
Exactly. It doesn't really affect you in any way, like, or me or anyone really. So,
I don't know.
people get really heated about it. We're actually going to have a flat Earth debate on our show between two people. Like, we're like the mediators in a
Good.
battle,
One too many,
and
yes. Perfect.
and so they're gonna talk about. We have one person who's like super flat Earth, and one who's definitely like it's totally a ball. So they're gonna battle it out, and we're gonna just try to keep the peace. I think it's on the 23rd of this month, so I'm super
I
excited.
actually have goosebumps because like it sounds like that.
Oh, it might be the 27th. It's the 23rd or the 27th. Shit, but whatever. It's gonna be good.
So okay, so I then want to hear about your ascension story. I know you have quite stuff to say. You have a lot of stuff to bring forth.
Sort of. So I feel like I was born not ascended necessarily at all, but just born spiritual. Like I could feel things when I was really little, like weird things. So like I would look at so I was not raised religious at all. Not that we weren't religious, but um we just didn't go to church necessarily. We did for 2 years when I was a teenager, but I think it's because my mom wanted to get us baptized just because. So she like went to like, show up for a few years and be like, look, we're doing it. And then she got us baptized so she could feel better about it. And that's not like shitting on my mom in any way. She's awesome. But I just that was my impression of it because then as soon as we got baptized, we just stopped going. So um but when I was little, I would look at pictures of Jesus and Mary and stuff, and I would cry and I would say like the lady, and I was like 2 or 3 years old, and my mom was just like, "What's wrong with you?" Like, I was the firstborn, so she didn't have any sort of baseline to deal with a weird kid like me. I was afraid of things irrationally, like I was afraid of the vacuum, like the sound of it. I was afraid of like the alarm. I was afraid that if she but it was because I was afraid she was gonna like suck me up in the vacuum though. And it was because I knew that bad things could happen. And I knew all these things. I'm not saying that I have gotten sucked up by the vacuum, but I wasn't just like, oh, the noise, I don't like it. There was a huge thought process that went along with it, irrational or whatever. But anyway, um, so when I got a little older, or just over time, even in seventh grade, like middle school, I had dreams that Satan would come in my dream. And like again, we weren't even like I didn't read the like I didn't know anything. So I had a dream once that Satan like owned me and he possessed me and I was at my school and all my friends were leaving to go on buses, but I knew I couldn't go because there was this man standing behind me and he was like and I didn't go. I just ran up a little bit and said bye to my friends and I knew I had to stay because of something. And then he just to show power pushed my face down into the ground and rubbed a dead fish into the back of my hair. And I didn't know anything about that, but there's a bunch of like spiritual stuff with fish and I don't know. And anyway, and then when I got a little bit older, I had a dream that um, it looked like so I was in this beautiful field with a bunch of my friends, and I we watched all these stick figures kind of come down from the sky. I guess it looked like they were on parachutes. It looked like stick figures and parachutes. And they came down and they were like, hi, we're angels. Again, I had like, I wasn't watching anything religious. I wasn't thinking about it. It just happened to be this odd dream. Um, and they were like, hi, we're angels. We're going to gather you guys in groups and we're going to do some activities today. And so they gathered us all together in this big, giant field. And they were like camp counselors. And they had us in these like little small circles. And we had to perform tasks like cartwheeling or gymnastics or solving a puzzle or doing whatever weird stuff. And so then after all that was done, at the end, there was a huge arch. And on the arch, there was a digital readout. And people, as they walked through, symbols would come up. And it looked like ancient alien symbols now. Like at the time, I didn't know anything spiritual, supernatural. I didn't believe in aliens. I didn't look inside myself or anything. I was like 19. I didn't care about anything. Um, so now looking back, it was really strange. But as they walked through, the symbols would come up and they'd go through. And then I went through and my symbols came up and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And they were really sympathetic. And they said, "You can't come right now. Your name is wanting." And I was like, "What?" Okay. And I woke up and didn't really think anything of it. Um, because, now as we all know, wanting, like, you shouldn't want for things. It's not an awesome quality. But at the time, they could have said, "Your name is running," or "Your name is eating," or "Your name is any other verb." And I would have felt the same way. I just didn't care. I didn't look into it. And then I saw this movie called A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger. Have you seen that?
No.
Heath Ledger and Rufus Sewell. Oh, all right. Well, it's like this guy who's trying to be a knight, basically. He's raised super poor. And there is this knight who's just an asshole to him all the time. And he does all these mean things to him. And as I'm watching this movie, this was like a year after the dream, he pushed him down and he pushed his face down in the ground and he said, "You've been weighed and measured and found wanting. Like, you can't have the princess," or whatever. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I thought, I wonder what that is. So I looked it up and it turns out it's a Bible phrase and it's in Daniel. "You've been weighed, measured, and found wanting." And that is what happened in my dream. Like I
Wow.
was weighed and measured and found wanting. And I didn't know any of it at the time. And I also like kind of didn't care, but all these things would happen to me where I could just think of something and manifest it. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had no guidance. I had no knowledge of anything. But if I thought of a certain thing, I could usually make it happen. And and it wasn't that special to me at the time. It wasn't like I was manifesting money or good experiences. Sometimes I manifested negative things because I couldn't control my emotions. And eventually, that took me down this super negative path of um, I just got super involved in like work. And as people would see my spirituality and see how happy and bubbly I was all the time, they would sometimes shit on me for it. And then I would like, it would attach to me and I would slowly, I just like got chipped away and turned into this cold, calculating, not nice person to be around, where I had a dark energy that was like palpable. Like people could feel it. And I was just such a negative energy, even when I was smiling and happy. I wasn't like, like a mean shithead all the time, but like little things would get under my skin. I would get really irritable. Like anything, like if I dropped my keys or something, I would be like, "God damn it, shit, motherfucker," just like lose it over stupid stuff. So very recently, I had another dream about Satan in our house. And I was like, "What the fuck? This is so weird." And then my husband and I went out to dinner. Um, and I had a couple drinks, but our drink of choice is White Claw mixed with sparkling water. We're not really badass drinkers or anything, and we don't get drunk. But like maybe I had one too many drinks at this restaurant, but I definitely wasn't drunk. I don't know if you believe in like spirit attachments or like leaving yourself vulnerable to spirits, possibly, if you've ever heard of anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, but so we had this really great night. We met a great couple there. We came home. I got really dizzy and was like, "Ugh, I probably had one too many Moscow mules. I am so sorry. I'm going to go to bed." And my husband helped me to bed. So the next day, my husband said, "Do you remember what happened last night?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" "Yeah, we had so much fun. It was such a good night. I loved it." And he was like, "You were like a total asshole." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about? I had a great night." "No." And he said, "You freaked out at me in the car." And these are things I've never done in my entire life ever. And we've definitely gone out drinking before. I've had one too many drinks before. I know how to handle myself. So this was odd. He said that I tried to like like make out with him in his seat while he's driving, merging on between two highways. That I tried to make out with him, and that he was like, whoa. And that I was like, ugh, fine, whatever, and yelled at him. And then I skipped a bunch of songs on his phone, which is another, like, I would never touch someone's phone when we're in their car because I feel like that's a respect thing. Like, that's their music. They're driving, they're getting us to this place safely. Let them listen to what they want. That's something I've always had. So I guess I was like, no, I hate this song. I hate this song. I hate this song. And was pressing all these buttons. Then I got inside, screamed and yelled about them forgetting to box my food up, which like don't care about, and then fell onto the couch and tried to go to sleep there. And then he helped me to bed and then put me to bed. And then after he put me to bed, I apparently came out while he was sitting outside. He was just smoking a cigarette and just texting someone back. And I guess I opened the door and said, "What are you doing?" And then he said, "Smoking." And then I said, "Okay." And then slammed the door. And then I like danced back, like out back to my room. And I was like, "Whoa, okay." So I laughed when he told me initially. I laughed. I thought it was like the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life, because I've never, ever, ever done that. And I thought about it and was like thinking about all of these things. So I started listening to your podcast right around the same time. Like, and we had just had Brandon on, and I had just listened to another meditation episode. This is like a week and a half ago, just to let you know. This is like super recent. So I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? I let a spirit in. I had to have, because that wasn't me. I don't remember any of those times, but I remember in between those times. So it was like this thing got inside me and just took me for a little ride and just tested things out and then fucked off when it wanted to and then let me have my body back. And I was like, I woke up and was fine. Like, I was a little drunk, but I wasn't like a jerk, I wasn't in a bad mood. Nothing was wrong. So it freaked me out so bad that I meditated about it. So I did a session with Lindsay Sharman. Do you know who that is?
No.
Oh, she's like she does spiritual readings. So she'll do a session with you where you meditate. She meditates at the same time, regardless of where you are in the world. And then she'll do a session with you after that and like 10 minutes later or whatever. And she'll tell you what she saw and talk about your spirit guides and what they look like and if she gets any messages and things like that. So about 9 months ago, I did a session with her. And she gave me all of these meditations that I could do. She also told me that my consciousness possibly came here on an asteroid from another planet and that I wasn't really like an earth being, but that she had never seen that before and that she had no idea how to process it. So she was like, I don't want to tell you you're an alien, but you might be. I don't know. So she's super cool.
We're both
And I'm
human,
not
by the
saying,
way. Like I believe some of the souls that come in onto this planet are not off this planet. Like
yeah,
I'm not sure, but I feel like I feel like I don't really have other lifetimes here. Like just that's just my intuition. Could be wrong. I don't know.
no, I love that because I totally understand that. And I love your greetings, Earth family. I love when you say that. It just resonates with me. I'm like, oh yeah, the Earth family.
The
Because
reason
it's
I do it
very
that way, there are several, but one of them is like, greetings, Earthlings. That's pretty much
exactly
that's pretty much where but the other part is like we are all a family, you know?
right.
Us humans, we're all technically family, even though we're all like so very different, live in different places. We're Earth, the Earth Collective. We're
Yeah. We're
humans.
all beings of love and light, all together trying to find our way.
Yes, absolutely. Humans.
Yeah.
uh
Right?
human supposedly if you break up the word it breaks up into hue as in like light, and then the man part into manifestation, so light manifesting itself,
I
if that
love that. And that's what so many things are too. Like, just even colors that we see. It's just light and perception.
yes
So
everything.
strange. There must be something that we're not seeing. There's got to be things going on that we just aren't allowed to see right now or just can't.
So you were with this lady in a meditation, and she told you that you were an alien from an
Maybe.
maybe.
Well, she told me to do all these meditations after, I guess is my point. She told me about my spirit guides that I have two really specific ones and they had two really specific messages that were really good. Um, and she said that didn't always happen, which was cool because she was happy that it was clear. But she gave me this list of meditations to do. And I did like exactly none of them. I was like, yeah, whatever, meditation, screw that, who cares? And there was one. So just after all this happened last week or whatever, I was like, I need to do one. So opened up the email from 9 months ago and found one that she did. It was called Self Love at Every Age. And you meditate and you imagine yourself at every age and you hug yourself and you give yourself this love and energy and just positive, emotions. And so I remember reading that the first time she sent the email and I was like, lame. I mean, like, I'm not doing that because she was like, she's so cool though. And she was totally right. She wrote in there, tears may come, but just let them flow. It's part of the healing process. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to cry doing this, like whatever. So I sat there and I did this meditation and I imagined myself as a baby and I hugged myself and immediately started sobbing. And I sobbed the entire meditation for like 10 minutes. And I loved it. And then I started, while I was in the meditation, going back to like other times I was struggling and like trying to like quantum heal myself through time that I don't I don't even know how to do that or anything about it. I was just trying to be there for myself when no one was, and just trying to give myself positive energy through the years. So I got up from the meditation, and this was like Wednesday. So like happy Friday. Um, so yeah, 2 days ago, I got up from this meditation and I had to start work. I work from home and I have a really technical, like intense job. I work for a mortgage loan company and I have like a important job. So so I had gotten an email while I was meditating from a company we work with and I responded wrong. So I said like the wrong thing. And there's like not a large margin of error allowed, in this industry. We have to be pretty on it most of the time. And I don't make mistakes often, but they happen. We're human, no big deal. But anyway, I made a mistake and I responded to an email with the wrong information. And there were like 10 people copied on it. And this was like a real time transaction. Like a loan was closing like right then. And I responded incorrectly. Tons of people got confused. It threw everybody off. And normally, like I was saying, it would have driven me up the wall. I would have freaked out. I would have bashed myself internally. I would have gotten super stressed and anxious. And I just didn't. I had just done this meditation and cried and loved myself. So I was like, oh, no big deal. And I reacted like a 180 different how I normally would. So I just responded and said, oh, oops, I'm so sorry. I just got confused by what you were saying. Totally misunderstood. This is what's actually happening. My bad. And just owned it, but didn't even freak out. I wasn't even mad. And then they're like, oh, okay. Well, are you sure? And I had to confirm it a couple times. And that was, I was just like, yes, I'm totally positive. My bad. This is a crazy one. Sorry. And I said, thank you so much for understanding. You guys are all amazing. So I also put back this positivity, which I would not normally ever do. Not that I'm a jerk, but I just wouldn't think of it. And I was like, you guys are all so great. Like, thank you so much for being so understanding with me, whatever. And just, so I owned it. I apologized for it. And then I didn't get mad at myself. And then I also put positive energy back and I got so much love back. So like immediately, like my boss, who's also my brother-in-law, but still my boss technically, he was like, you're so amazing. We love you. It's totally fine. And then all of the agents and all of the title company, like everyone came back and was like, we love you. You're doing so great. Don't worry about it. Like, this is a stressful time. And it was such a good feeling. And so I just like did my whole day that way. I manifested positivity with my daughter at the grocery store later. I like dropped my credit card. They were out of all the stuff I wanted, but I didn't let it get to me. I just was like, no, I'm gonna make it good. And I had so many good experiences come from it. We met this girl that told us all about crystals. My daughter's mood completely changed from like super depressed and mad to like we were having a great conversation by the end of the day. It was just really cool. It's not how days normally go for me. So I don't know. That's my like ascension story. It happened like when I was little and then I got beaten down and I feel like I just now can see things differently. Like I can feel it. I feel it when I say like thank you so much and I put this positivity out there and push the negativity away. I can feel like tingly or something. I can feel something happening. I don't know what it is, but it's really cool.
Yeah, meditation, like I kind of did not pay attention to it either for many many years because I mean it's like meh. And I feel
Right.
like everybody's like, well, most people are like that with it, but once you do it, holy crap, it changes your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just one of those things where I feel like as humans there there could be some sort of negative forces out there that are pretty strong that deter us from doing things like that. That kind of tell you in the back of your mind like you don't need to, don't worry about it. No big deal.
Wait,
Don't
oh,
do that. You're
boring,
fine without it.
corny,
Right.
meh, meh, meh. I don't need it. I'm better than that, or what? I'm above it, or whatever. It's nothing. It's not nothing. It's
It's everything. It's yourself. It's part of everything and everyone should do it.
you want
Just
it
my
one entity. Exactly that. Exactly that. And of course, you have to know what you're doing. Like manifestation, for example, happens partially through meditation. Um, so how's your experience with meditation, the manifesting and healing, that kind of thing?
well, when I was younger, I would manifest scenarios like by accident, by thinking of it and picturing it to be real. And then it would happen. And I thought that was so strange. And it was a scenario typically. It wasn't like a thing that would happen. But I had a friend once who got really sick. It was just mono. They weren't like dying, but they were really sick to the point where one of their lymph nodes like swelled up to like this huge like grapefruit on the side of their neck. It was really gross. And I went home and I didn't really know what I was doing, as I've said numerous times, but I was learning to play guitar and I like played guitar and like sang this song and made it up on the spot. It sounds so stupid. And I
Oh,
made
that
it up and I was like praying kind of, and I was like praying for this healing, asking for help and healing and singing at the same time. And then when I was done, I stood up and was like, what the hell did I just do? I didn't even understand. And I thought it was weird. I thought my own self was weird for doing that. And my friend went to the hospital. I went to the doctors like the next day, and they were like 100% better. And the doctor said it was amazing. They couldn't believe it. They were going to have to hospitalize them, and they didn't end up getting hospitalized. And I'm not saying that I healed them, but it was a really
it.
weird thing to happen. Like
Um, that's
that we went from like almost having to be hospitalized to like 100% healed the next day. I was like,
amazing. No, that was you. That was you. um we like to, myself included, we like to kind of like, oh no, oh no, no, we are that powerful. We really, really are, especially when it comes to sound healing, sing
yeah,
when
power
you're
of like vibrations. Yeah.
uh, I've been allowing myself to open up, and I'm only doing this in private currently, but I do want to eventually possibly include that in my healing practice, because you heal with sound. And especially when you're doing it like with singing, emotion comes through, and your emotion is what helps you manifest. That is what helps you manifest. So that was all you, babe.
Maybe. I don't know. I still think it's weird. But and
Okay.
it's not even I'm not even taking credit. I just thought it was an interesting thing, but I know that people can do that. Like you're saying, I believe that can happen. Whether or not I am responsible for that healing that happened, maybe. But I think we can do it. Like even like as far as scenarios, like my husband, I feel um maybe we both manifested it together, but he sent me a text when we were just playing a video game together as like acquaintances that lived 2,000 miles away. And I knew like in my head, I'm like, oh, that's the person I'm going to marry. Like I just knew it. And it wasn't even, I couldn't tell what his face looked like. It wasn't a text he wasn't hitting on me. He was just like, hey, do you have an Instagram? I'll follow you. Like it was not anything. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so important. And I made a point to be very careful with everything I said to that person. And that person became my husband. And I remember thinking I would hear songs and I was like, um, there's this weird song called Force of Nature by B. Miller. And it's just about this scary time that this girl's having and that she's really likes this guy, but she's not sure because it's weird and they shouldn't be together. Not that I shouldn't be with him, but he lived in California and I lived in Indiana. Um, and yeah, but I would hear it and I would think of him. And that is so weird because I was like, why am I thinking of him? And then I kept going with it and kept going with it. And then we fell in love and ended up dating after like a month and then visiting each other and then getting married after less than a year. I moved here in 5 months. It was just really weird. It was like we manifested this whole like love thing out of nothing, out of a text. Really weird.
I love it. I love how I do believe like whatever's meant to be is meant to be, and I just love the way it works out. Like that's why I'm not like stressing when it comes to certain things. I'm just like, It's not gonna pass me by, whatever's meant to be.
Right. Yeah, that's how it is. We can't worry about things that we don't have or that aren't happening because that's just how it is. And how it is should be your main focus, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm. So how long have you how long ago was that, I guess?
Um, that was in 2015 that I
Hmm.
met my husband. It was November. Well, no, that's when I moved here. I guess it was April of 2015 that we started texting. He texted me at the end of April, and I saved all of our texts and I downloaded them and I made like a scrapbook out of them and like our progression. It's so stupid.
Oh,
But
making my heart so happy. I love it. Yay. And now you have your own home and you're learning how to farm.
yes, we're growing our own food. He got me a greenhouse for Christmas. He's like the sweetest person ever because I have all these plants that are just these like my little orphan plants that I grow, like avocado seeds and lemon seeds, and they all turn into trees and they all pretty much grow. But they just were on this table getting rained on. So he bought me a greenhouse and he bought me a mandarin orange tree that had oranges on it already. It was so cool. It was like the best Christmas present ever. But we are trying to be self-sustaining. I could grow a mean garden in Indiana, not so much in Northern California. Kind of suck at it, actually. The weather here gets to be like 115 and it just kills plants. So having a greenhouse now will be super helpful because I can't really, everything grows and then just dies. So we're working on it. But
Learning, learning.
yeah, it's fun though. I eventually want to have a like a self-sustaining garden so that we can have food year round, like potatoes and broccoli and carrots and tomatoes. I love tomatoes. I love lettuce, like all that good stuff. So
That's my dream. That's my dream. So I definitely, that's what I want to do. I want to eventually have a home where I could grow my own food and like not completely not rely on other, you know, fruit, vegetable sources because I mean, holy crap, like to grow your own stuff. And from what I'm hearing is that if you put your, don't know how true this is, but if you put your saliva on a seed, it'll kind of like what, I don't know a better word, but I'm gonna use alchemize with it. Alchemy is not a good word. It'll combine with it to kind of give that person exactly what they need. Like it just works with it.
awesome.
Symbiosis, whatever word, I'm not sure what word to use, but yeah, supposedly. I don't
I
know.
love that. All right, I'm totally gonna lick all my seeds before I plant them from now on. My husband's gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
No, give me that
so,
avocado. I need to
huh?
lick it.
Supposedly. Yeah.
Oh,
So I
I'm
would
trying.
love to do that. Oh my God. And to like know that nobody sprayed my
Yeah,
plants.
yeah.
Buying organic, but
Yeah. I don't even feed them though. I have to get better at the fertilization process and know what stuff to give them because I usually don't do anything at all because the soil was so rich in Indiana where I lived that
mm,
they would just grow and grow and grow and you'd never even have to fertilize anything. I had more fruits and vegetables than I could deal with and had to give them away to people. But here it's like I'm lucky if I get one tomato that's viable or like one squash. We got a bunch of cherry tomatoes this year and that's about it. I think a couple peppers.
I'm thinking, did you guys do like a compost, like any kind of leftover?
We just started that, actually. That's so
Oh,
funny you said that. We just built it.
I don't know.
The day that we built it is the day that you and I were texting. Actually, it was like over the weekend. It was on Saturday. This last Saturday is when we built it. And like in between, like I was listening to your voice messages and then I was like also trying to garden and like we redid the chicken coop and stuff. So um we have chickens. We have 5 chickens. They're assholes, but they lay 4 eggs a day. One of them doesn't lay eggs anymore. Um, but they run around and so we need to have a compost pile because they're just always in everything and there's so much crap everywhere that we throw out there, so we just throw it to the chickens and then whatever they don't eat or goes bad we just throw it in the compost pile.
Okay, awesome. And
Next year we're
you were telling me that you have this hobby, which I find interesting and kind of amazing actually, that you like to go into like Home Depot places and get those poor trees that are suffering and just like they're ready to die. So you, I would like to hear more about that.
I do that all the time. So I remember seeing, so, and you should see these plants now. I should have sent pictures, the before and afters. So when I do this, the plant will come back and it will be like the biggest plant that I have. But I go in and I find like the deadest plant or one that just looks like it's about to, hit the dusty trail or whatever. So I buy all these dead plants. One time I bought three basically dead pepper plants, and the lady behind me was like, "Are you trying to save those?" And I was like, "Yep, I am." And then she was like, "Oh, okay, good luck." And then the cashier was like, "Did you want to go and pick different ones? These look really bad." And I was like, "No, these are this I did this on purpose, man. Like these are the ones I want." And they grew tons of peppers actually. They weren't part of our garden where everything died. We kept them in pots, and they were these hot havasu peppers. I got them. I mean, basically, they were the only plants there that were dying. I don't like spicy things, but my husband does, so I'm like, whatever, he can eat them. Either way, my goal was for them to live, not produce fruit. I don't really care about that so much. And then I got a citronella plant that was like basically dead, and it's like a bush now. It like grew. It's in the greenhouse, and it's growing and vining all over the whole greenhouse, which is really cool. All the tomato plants that I rescued grew bigger, and they're the only ones that put off fruit this year too. So it was pretty cool. But I think everyone should do that. Don't kill plants. It's okay. Just give it a little water, watch it grow.
Yeah, depending on the person for sure. Because some people just they're like, no, yeah, no. What is citronella? I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, citronella is a plant that repels mosquitoes. So it smells like a lemon. The leaves kind of look like kale-ish or like lettuce kind of. I don't know. It's just a weird plant. Um, but it has like a lemony kind of citrus smell to it. If you touch the leaves, you can you can smell that lemony smell, and like flies and mosquitoes hate it. So it's good that it grew so big because I hate those things too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll keep that in mind for sure for when I'm finally in my dream situation,
Yeah.
growing things. Oh my God, I
You live in
can't.
a city? Do you live in the country or the city?
I live in New York City. I know,
Oh,
I know. Yeah, see, I don't, this has just been my home for so long. Um, so I'm having a hard time kind of leaving. Part of it is I don't like moving. So what I'm
fair.
looking for is, yeah, like it takes me forever to finally like I need my home to be stable, everything in its right place for my roots to finally be nice, like to start. Because like I just feel very, I need my home like stable. I can't move around. So what I'm waiting for is to figure out where I belong, because I don't know where I belong. So I'm not gonna move somewhere, to like move again. So like it's either, I don't know. We'll see what life brings me. Like when it happens, I'll know. I'll be like that, you know.
Right. That's totally what you should do. Just like there's that invisible string that pulls us to where we need to be. Just follow it. Go
Exactly.
where it takes you.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet. And yeah, people keep asking me, they're like, why are you still in New York? And I'm like, part of it is what I just explained. Another part of it is like everybody has left, like all the light workers have left, and it's just like, um, who's supposed to anchor the light? Like if everybody left, who's gonna anchor the light? And
Yeah, I know New York City is crazy though right now, especially, isn't it?
it is, well, here's the thing. I I'm a bit of a hermit would be a good word. I don't need anything out there. So I'm here doing my thing, producing my stuff. Um, there's nothing out there that I need. Nothing. Have my food delivered. uh, I could even like I could even have people come over, but even with that, I'm like, I'm really appreciating my alone space at this point in time. Just, you know,
Totally.
it's a phase, I think. Or like just there's just so much growth that happens when you're alone. So I'm like I'm really really appreciating it. So yeah, people are like, why? And Yeah, those reasons. And while I don't believe in martyrhood, like, because, like this whole, like, it's my job, like sacrifice and stuff, I'm not looking at it as a sacrifice because I'll definitely leave once it's time. And it'll be time when I'll have some guidance. It's just like that, like I said.
Yeah, when it's time, you'll know.
Yeah.
You don't have to look for it, or I mean, I guess look for it as in pay attention, but don't expect it or anything. You could manifest it maybe.
Working
Meditate
on it,
on it.
literally. So I was talking to Brandon the other day, and he was just like, we need to, like, because I've been the last couple of weeks, I've been like doing the manifesting meditations, like I'm like hardcore, like I'm doing it just really hardcore. I'm doing like 45 minutes in the morning, but just like, I like, when I go, and then like before I go to bed, and then throughout the day, I'm like gratitude, 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 just like I'm working on it. So anyway, I was talking to Brandon the other day. He was just like, you need to step it up. And like he gave me some tips, and I was just like, cool. Like he gave me the idea of 369, which is like writing down like a small phrase of what you want, um 3 times in the morning, 6 times in middle of the day, and 9 times before I go to bed. um then there was like a shower portal thing where you kind of leave everything behind, like there's a portal between the shower and where you are, and then like you just like think about, you're like leaving everything behind, stepping through the portal, it's bye bye, and like go, you clean everything, you're clean, and then you step out, you're just completely
Awesome.
fresh. There's like all these little manifestations. So like I said, I'm doing really hardcore, and the things that I'm so part of what I'm doing with the 45 minutes and throughout the day and before I go to bed is I'm thinking about what I want. And I'm not just thinking about it and like, oh, I desire. It's a step further, because if you just like, oh, I don't have it, I want it, I don't have it, you're not gonna get shit. I'm sure you know. It's this is what I want. I see it, I feel it, I'm grateful for it. So it's like you already have it. You're feeling what it feels like to have it. So, like I said, finally stepping it up. And I literally, because of me talking to Brandon the other day, I'm like, all right, you know what? Because I was working on a couple of things. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna add my home, my garden, my man. It's like it's time. I'm ready to like not do this solitude thing. Like it's like it's about time. And like I'm like looking, what I'm seeing, and I'm just like, all right, time to manifest. We're working on it.
Yeah. Just like you said, just be grateful like you already have it. Another kind of weird thing is I always find links between like spirituality and in like Bible stuff because I think there's a link there. It doesn't mean like I think the Christianity of now has all of the spirituality removed from it, like going to church and got to do this, got to go donate and blah blah blah. And I'm not saying any of those things are bad, but it's less about being with God or with a higher being or a spiritual relationship and more about like doing things or judging people or going to church and showing up and making it look like you do these things that you're not really doing.
Right.
Um, but I think there is power in there somewhere. But there's a Bible phrase that I loved when I was in that short time we were going to church. There's a Bible phrase where Jesus tells his disciples that whatever you ask for in prayer, if you believe that you receive it, it will be yours. And it's manifesting. That's what he's saying in the Bible. He's saying all you have to do is this. And his analogy is that a man could say to a mountain, go throw yourself in the sea. And as long as he believes it in his heart, it will be done for him.
That's
And like,
exactly
that's a pointless thing to do. So if you can do that, you can do anything.
that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly the method. So technically, it's a what I when I started it off a couple of weeks ago, it's technically the Joe Dispenza method, right? Like it's technically the same things. I don't know if that's where he got his ideas from, unless they just came to him. Same thing, same idea, different people, doesn't matter. It's all in the collective. But I don't think I even sent this to you. It's funny that you bring this up because I stumbled by mistake across something. Um, Maybe it's called the Book of Thomas. And before, did I send this to you? I don't think I did.
No, my husband looks into stuff like that. He was raised super religious, so he's into like um like the Gnostic texts and like Book of Thomas, like all the lost books he's super
Right.
interested in because it's
Yes.
against everything he was taught.
Is that where you got the info? Or oh, you said when you were younger. So it's in the Bible.
No. Hmm. It's
Oh,
Mark 11:20 is the Bible phrase. It's the parable of the withered fig tree. You could look that up too. It's where it starts, where Jesus and his disciples, they're going somewhere in Matthew, in the book of Matthew, and Jesus sees a fig tree and he's like hungry, so he goes to, this is my layman's terms description of this story. He sees it and he's like, "Yo, I'm hungry. I want like a fig." And the tree has no fruit on it, and so he says, "May you never bear fruit again," which I think is pretty mean, but whatever. So as they're coming back in the book of Mark, one of his disciples sees the fig tree and says, "Master, look, the fig tree you cursed has withered to the roots." And Jesus was like, "Yeah, no shit, I told it to. And you could do this too. All you have to do is like expect it and know that it will happen and it will be done for you." That's like, that's what he's saying. So it's pretty cool. But if you look that up, you can find that Bible phrase.
wow. Yeah. So that video that I was watching, what the Book of Thomas, the lost info, um,
Yeah.
they were saying that that information was in that book, and they took it out just so kind of to disempower people. So it's interesting that you're mentioning that you actually spotted it available as well.
Yeah.
It's
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 not like
it's
it's very
absolutely
small.
true. It's absolutely true. That's exactly the way. This is like, I don't know, 4 days ago. It's like, all right, adding this to my like, just like, even though it's, again, I feel like it's the same thing as what Joe Dispenza's saying. It's just kind of like a more of like any doubts that you had, like even more like kind of pushed away, so I'm just like really feeling it now. So let's
Yeah,
see.
that's awesome. It builds confidence too. It makes you feel more that empowerment and not worrying about things and not stressing and not hoping or wanting things. You just feel like everything's okay, so it's all okay. It sounds obvious, but it's just right there and there's no worries about anything. So it just builds that confidence. I have like no anxiety anymore. I used to be like super anxious about everything, even like, a week ago. But I've been finding too that people are like reaching out to me like you did, a couple other people did, and I reached out back and gave them love. And I've been like talking with different people now, and you just put that positive energy out there and it comes right back. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep, it's all about that. Yeah, and doing the same. And like, I've been working on posture for quite some time now, but now it's like I'm feeling, even though it's only been a couple weeks, but I'm feeling different. Like, just
Awesome.
there's a difference. I'm
What
loving
is
it.
it? What is it? Posture?
Yeah, I'm working on posture. I've been working on my posture, but just
Okay.
kind of like feeling, just like feeling this complete like surrender, I guess, and gratitude. There's just a different like I guess my heart is just like now, like, it's like different. Yeah. So
Super
yeah,
cool. I'll have to look into that.
it's fantastic, and I just can't wait to like continue to observe this, this little thing that I took on, because like I said, it's
Yeah. How long have you been doing this?
only a couple of weeks, like, because I knew about this for a long time, but I'm only human, and therefore there's always still a bit of doubt. So I won't do the meditation, I won't do this and that, so like I was like, I knew, but I wasn't doing. So but like now I'm like so committed, I'm devoted, I'm committed, like just like
Yeah. Heck yeah. That's awesome.
ready.
That's so good to hear. But yeah, we have to just remember to do those things that we know are good for us. You
Yes.
know, eat the things that are good for us. Don't eat the things that are bad. We know the difference. We're not stupid. We can do this.
Yeah, I've been really working on my health with when it comes to fruits and vegetables. I technically like, I mean, I healed myself with fruits and vegetables and herbs. So like I was able to be on the other side and kind of like, okay, this works. So I'm mostly plant-based now, but I'm now allowing myself stuff. Like I'm not as strict as I was before. Now that I'm in a good place of health, I'm like, all right, cookies. Time for cookies. Okay, cool. Time for potato chips. Cool.
Yeah.
I love my potato chips. I kind of my body doesn't like nightshades, which is, potatoes are part of that, but like I want I want So
Every now and then, it's totally fine. It can't be bad for you. I always say if you eat something like that every now and then, it's the same effect as if you exercise every now and then. That's not going to help you or do anything for you. But also, eating a bag of chips like once a month isn't going to do anything either in the negative side. So, no big.
yeah, it's not once a month. No, it's like it's
Like once an hour.
it's bordering every day. But I'm working it out to where I'm like, all right, Natasha, you get this much, okay? So I'm not like giving myself a bag of chips and expecting myself to stop, which like I'm finding it didn't work. I was just like, well, it's okay. It's okay. Now I'm just like a little bit. You want to have it all the time? Fine. A little bit. That's it.
Right? That's so funny. Just do you, do you order them? Like do you have them delivered to you? You
Most
have
of
to
the
just
time. Sometimes I go to
try
the
to not. Just skip it and then when you want them, just meditate about it. That's what I say to everything now. Like, just meditate about it.
ah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Or
Maybe
eat sweet potatoes instead. Sweet potatoes are my substitute for potatoes because potatoes can make me feel a little heavy and like foggy and weird. But
that is
if I
fun.
eat sweet potatoes instead, that's great.
But they're not as good.
Do you like sweet potatoes?
They're okay. That's the thing. They're not doing it for me though. Not
I got
okay.
you. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
sucks.
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's just like
Learn to make your own potato chips. Do that because then it would be like less processed. You could just slice them really thin and then deep fry them yourself. And then it's way healthier. You should try that.
I should try that. Good
Yeah.
fucking idea. Yes. Mhm.
Make it yourself. You can grow your own too.
One day, one day. So, I'm wondering, were you the black sheep of the family?
Ah, yes.
Oh,
Yes, I am. I'm totally the black sheep of my family. Not that my family doesn't love me, but I was always weird. I was the one that like dyed my hair when I was young and then cut all my hair off and then gauged my ears and got piercings and tattoos. And like no one in my family like has any of those things or ever did anything like that. I moved to Indiana from Massachusetts when I was like 21 and then moved to California after that. And I'm the only person who doesn't live in New England. Well, that's not true. I think one of my cousins ended up moving to Virginia or something at some point later. But now they don't talk to the rest of their family either for whatever reason. I don't know. But I was the first black sheep, okay? I guess there's a couple of us now. But yeah. I love my family, but I rarely talk to them. I don't mean to not be close, but I never I don't know.
it is what it is. It's okay.
It's not bad. Like I love my family. They're just very like the media is totally right about everything. Everything we hear is right and this opinion is wrong and it's very divisive. And I'm just like, well, if you looked into a different side of things, you might feel differently um, without being combative, which I do find that hard to do sometimes because it's so obvious. Like my family will say things that contradict themselves. Like they're contradicting themselves as they're saying it. And I'm just like, okay, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. I love you. So, but I do visit occasionally. One of my sisters has like 5 kids and I love them. We just don't get to see them all the time. Just distance kind of sucks. And plane tickets are super expensive from California to Massachusetts. And it's a really long drive. We'll
Yeah,
get
that's
there.
expensive from Cali anywhere. It's
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Like
it's horrible.
it'll take me depending on when I'll get the ticket, but I could get a ticket for under $100 sometimes to Florida. That's
Weird.
it's crazy. It's like taking a train. Sometimes like
Yeah.
I've never got a really, really low ticket, but somebody was telling me it's like $50 they've got tickets, a round trip. What?
That's so cool. Way back in the day, Southwest, I think they're starting to do it again now, but they would have rates for like $39 each way, and I would go home all the time. This is when I lived in Indiana and Chicago area. Um, I could go home for like, $80 with taxes and whatever, and that was no big deal, and that was round trip. And now it's like $1,000, so a little different.
Crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
So this okay, so I know you guys like to you like the topic of aliens as well. Do you have any stories of your own when it comes to, I don't know, like abduction or experiences of any sort, even dreams?
I so wish. Not experiences. I mean, I guess if I was still standing here, yes, I do not want to get abducted by aliens. I'm super scared of that. We had a guy on who had his own alien abduction experiences, and he has 2 books. It's Terry Lovelace, if you've ever heard of him. He has The Incident at Devil's Den. But it's crazy and terrifying, and I totally believe him 100% because he has absolutely no reason to lie. Um, but just recently, I have kind of a cool story. My husband and I on 4th of July, we've never seen, like, I've never seen a UFO. I've never seen an alien. I wish. But we were, we
Too.
went out with our friends on 4th of July. Yeah. We went out and hung out 4th of July. And I mean, we had to drive home. So my husband didn't drink very much or anything. So we were pretty sober. Like, we weren't messed up or anything. And we went in our backyard and we were like, oh, hey, let's go look at satellites. And it was about midnight. And we were just looking up and trying to find satellites and stuff. And we saw a triangle. So this could have been the TR3B or B3, whatever it is. I don't know. There's some craft that I think we have as technology. But anyway, it looked like 3 stars and I could see through it though. So it was like 3 stars just going like across the sky, but with no sound, nothing. And then behind it, so like the color of this grass in my background was kind of a glow like that. If you have you ever seen the movie Predator?
Yes.
I
Go
haven't seen the whole thing, but do you know what I'm talking about? How he like turns invisible, but you can see the background behind him, but then it's kind of like cloaked. It's like a see-through.
I feel
That's
like
how
I
this
picture
looked.
it. I don't remember, but I feel like I picture that.
So it looked so weird. It looked like we shouldn't have been able to see it. Um, I don't know. It was just I got a strange feeling when it came over and my husband was screaming and this is like midnight. He's like, "What the fuck is that?" And I was like, "Shut up. Like calm down. We can't let it see us just in case it's not military because it could have been military testing for sure. 4th of July. I mean, someone could be like, "Oh, I saw a light in the sky," and they'd be like, "It's fireworks." So, they could blame it on something like that. Um, but it was really crazy and it just went perfectly across the sky silently. As it left, it looked different. It looked like a it looked like a satellite cluster going super fast across the sky. But I think it was a solid object. I'm not really 100%. But that's the only experience that I have with aliens or anything like that. Anything close. Do you?
So at first I was thinking no, but then I'm remembering back in 2011, I was at Burning Man, the only time I ever went, and we were going to the area where they burned the wooden statue of a man, the whole where the name comes from. And so we were all walking to this area. We were walking. I'm looking at the sky as I'm walking, and I'm like, what is that? I forget what color the light was. Maybe it was red, maybe it was white. I just don't remember. And it did this like smooth movement, and then it would stop. And I don't remember exactly like the movements or anything. Like I just remember it's like that's not normal. Things don't just like like like
Yeah.
some kind of like there's it's not a regular craft. So to me it made sense that this is an event that's interesting to watch from outsiders for outsiders, right? Like it's Burning Man, of course we want to watch that. If I don't
Right.
live on Earth, of course that's interesting, really really interesting, and it's going to be fire and all these emotions and all these hopes. Why not be there? So it made sense to me that that's what it was. And I just remember because like I was more naive back then. I just remember kind of like coming up to a couple of people like, and I'm just walking to, like I said, and like, do you see that? And like people just don't care. They're just like in their own world, just like, yeah, whatever. Like, but
Yeah, they're probably on like a lot of drugs too, possibly.
oh yeah, that's true. That's probably what it was. Makes
They're
sense.
probably internal, just like, hey man, whatever.
Whatever.
Not bad
Um,
though.
yeah. So that was my only experience. Uh, yeah, that's it. Okay, so one more topic, and yeah, so I would like to know your perception of what 5D, the term 5D is, or like, whatever,
Oh, is
whatever.
that the ascension? That's a new term to me, to be fair. Um, is that like the new way of thinking, the new like ascension of humanity, like the new dimension that we're all going into? I
Yeah,
feel like that is that manifesting though. I mean, I guess based on what I know, which is very little, but the ability to do what we are, I mean, at least you and I and a lot of like Brandon, people we've talked to, just that pushing things away, letting go, stopping letting the world get to us. Like, don't let that happen. Push the negativity away because it's trying to mess with us. I think it's that negativity is kind of what's created our reality.
yeah,
Not, and I'm not saying we were created out of negativity. I just think there's that view that people have sometimes of what society should look like and what you should do as a normal person was created in kind of a negative place where like you don't have to do that actually, and conforming to these standards is exactly what's going to take away from that inner beauty that everybody has if you're trying to be something else all of the damn time. So I don't know, I think 5D is way easier than I don't know, than I've heard from people sometimes. Like it's right there, it's inside us. We have this. We all
yeah.
have the ability to do
You
this.
know, see, intuitively, that's exactly what it is. Because people are just like, oh, there's gonna be like, I heard all kinds of stories. I'm not even gonna mention those stories because I don't want to like be offensive or anything to those people. But so it's not a so my perception, it's not another place. It's all it's here. Um like we're not going anywhere. So the way I explain it, and there are days when I can explain it well, there are days I can't explain it well, but here's how I explain it. So once you are no longer um being pulled down by your traumas, so I feel like you do need to do some work to not be weighed down, not to be in extreme darkness. So like basically shadow work, that you need to heal some of your wounds to be able to feel your heart, because I feel like some people can't feel their heart because of like they're still carrying stuff. So I feel like once you've cleared out enough stuff and you're able to open your heart, I feel like your heart is the portal to this. It's a consciousness, it's a state of mind. So basically it's where your mind and your heart and this whole manifesting thing, because it's happening with the mind and the heart. That's how you manifest. It's the emotions. So you're feeling like you have gratitude, so that's the heart part, and your mind is the part where that just like, this is what I want. So want, and I feel like I have it, I'm grateful for it, that's what works. So it's definitely manifesting, and it's definitely inside. So you're completely, without knowing the subject, you're like, it's that. I'm like, yes, it's that, exactly.
Oh, that's good because that's what I was hoping it was.
Perfect. So
That's what it feels like, though. It feels like you said, we're not going anywhere, and we have this whole way that we can be and change everything around us. And we're all such powerful creatures who have been taught that we're not powerful, that we're powerless, and that we have to follow this certain set of rules around us in order to get the things we want and be financially successful and look good to our peers. And those aren't the things that matter. And
yeah,
just by that being, having that ingrained in your head over generations of people, and that's how they teach their youth, then we just have to change and just be like, nope, look at how strong you are, watch what you can do. And we were taught that that's woo and that's stupid and that's silly and all of that stuff, like
that it
great
works.
stuff. Yeah, and it totally works, but of course if you're going to make fun of it, then like the current events that are happening around us today, um, are make it very clear that when there is an agenda at hand, they're going to manipulate what they say and do to try to sway the masses. And so, of course, the part of that, I think back in the day was like astrology's dumb, crystals don't work, meditation doesn't do anything. And that just became something that people are like, oh, you believe in that? And then that person in turn feels embarrassed and ashamed, and then they push it away, and then it just repeat, so on and so forth. So if we can change that, I think 5D can happen sooner than later for
Exactly.
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Go inside. That's the portal.
Yep.
Beautiful. So, Jen, thank you so very much for coming on. I'm so
So
grateful.
very much. I'm so grateful. No,
And
this was amazing.
Yeah, and I need to check out more of your podcast for sure. You guys sound like a fun bunch.
Yeah, we're fun. There is a lot of swearing, I will warn you. Um, but
Bye.
no, we're all nice. Like we're not mean. We're all about but being kind, being good, and we make jokes about everything. So everything, even if it's like not really a funny subject, we do talk about it in a joking way to bring some sort of humor to the darkness that happens around us sometimes.
Medicine. Laughing is medicine. Absolutely. It's like I've heard it stated before. It's like when comedians, they're like the laughter shamans. It's just like it's medicine.
Right.
Absolutely. And thank you
Yeah.
for doing that work. And I do see you guys are, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like you guys are a big part of why all these podcasters are like in these great like there's like such a great like little family between all of you guys, and I feel like you guys are such a big part of that.
Oh, I hope so. That would be cool.
I
That's
mean, that's
awesome.
my perception. I don't know.
Well, you're part of it too. You're a podcaster now too. You're
Yeah.
doing it. You're part of this great family. This is amazing.
You know what's really interesting, real quick before we go. So when I had the idea to create my podcast, which is Greetings Earth Family, the audio podcast, because I don't think everybody knows about it that are just visiting the YouTube channel. So I had this idea, or I started the podcast last in the year 2020. It was on the last full moon of the year. So I was just like, oh, I feel so inspired. Picked up my phone, started talking, just like because like I didn't want to make it complicated. I didn't want to like if put too much pressure because then I wouldn't get it done. So just like an idea that I had, I was just like, you know what, pick it up, start talking. So then, really, really interesting to me anyway. Last year, which is only a few weeks ago in 2021, same thing. Full moon of the last full moon of the year, randomly I'm doing a little like a little let's call it a routine or ritual or whatever, full moon, and just kind of like do a little meditation. And then at the very like end of it, like I'm finishing up my meditation, I had the idea of doing a video podcast called Ascension Stories. But it's funny because I didn't realize the same thing happened twice. So both these ideas came on the last full moon of the year. I
That's
only realized
awesome.
it like a few days later. I was like, oh, that's not random.
Your time, a time of clarity for you. You should remember that.
So
Mark it
weird,
on your calendar for 2022. Big
right?
things will happen for you.
Right?
Yeah,
What's going on here? Okay,
awesome.
my love. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate you. And I enjoyed myself as always.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was so fun. And you're such an amazing person, so easy to talk to. I love your show. Everyone should check out your show if they haven't heard Greetings, Earth Family. Just your little like positive, upbeat snippets. It's not like this long 2 hour thing, which is also fine. If you did that, I would totally listen. But it's something that people can listen to and just kind of go through it really quickly or just take one at a time. But it's just a short little thing and it's just always upbeat and energizing. So I
Thank
love it.
thank you. All right, my love. All right, guys. I will see you on the next episode. Stay safe, be good to each other and yourselves.